Welcome to the I Love Wine and Dogs podcast, created, produced, and hosted by Heidi Huebner, with engineering and production by Timothy Stone Dancer Coleman. This show was created to celebrate good wine, amazing pets, and people from around the world who are doing great things in their local communities. What's up, everybody? It's Timothy Stone Dancer Coleman and Heidi Huebner, season 2. And we're so excited just to have a conversation with each other and just to check in, see what's going on. There's so many things happening in the world. Things are so different from the time when we recorded our final episode of season 1. Without any further ado, let's welcome our creator, our host, and producer, Miss Heidi Huebner. How you doing, sister?
Hi, Timothy, my brother. I love you. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. And I'm going to say this is not how I thought this year was going to start off.
You've been doing some amazing social posts, with the work that you do in LA, with your volunteers and your volunteer animals, volunteer pets. The fires in LA, are you personally affected by this? What does it really look like? Because when we look at a lot of the newscasts, everything is like so intense, and it's hard to imagine that there's any part of California that isn't on fire.
Seeing it and seeing friends, actually, we had one friend that waited until the last minute and was taking live video of like literally behind me, like that was where the fire was. And this was him. I mean, it was right there. And he was like, my house is going to go there. I mean, he was, like so many people trying to put water on his roof and anything he could. And it's at that point where there is nothing you can do, right? We all want to try to save our things, our possessions, our memories. It's gone. And that was a moment for me when I was like, wow, what is it that I really need? And if that happened, we have earthquakes, we have other, just like everywhere else.
Yes.
What is it that I would really need? And for me, pictures and everything, I love pictures. I love videos. Luckily, we have all of that on our phones, but my baby pictures and my parents who both, are no longer here, that's not on my phone. That was before cell phones. So anyway, it really gave a lot of us a time to put the checklist together. What are the necessities? What do you need? What do you not need? And literally have now in the front closet, there's a supply bag. There is water, there's earthquake kit, there are medications, there is dog food. We've got Ripley. Yeah. And I do have a couple photo albums, the ones that those pictures are irreplaceable.
Right.
I'm not worrying about clothes. I'm not, I have an emergency kit of clothes that are sensible.
Yes.
But, we were not prepared. We didn't do that before, as did so many other people. So I think for all of us, no matter where we are, just have that area in your home of must-haves, birth certificate, passport. That's important stuff you don't want to be looking for. Just put it safely in one place that you can grab and go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think this is worth really chatting about and maybe doing some additional posts about, because, we had done in the South Bronx a lot of emergency preparedness trainings, because, I mean, it's the Bronx. Every day feels like an emergency. There's so much stuff going on. I think one of the other things that was really important for us was to remember, with the IDs, make a copy of them and put the copies of all the important documents, your dog's registration, whatever your animal is, their registration information, your passport or your driver's license, whatever those important documents are, in a Ziploc bag. And if you've got one and your significant other has one, the same information should be in both of those bags.
Yes.
I love how, you mentioned the dog food. I don't know if a lot of people have something in their bag that would at least get their animal or pet, their loved one, fed for at least a couple of days. You're not going to run down to the local store to buy something if the store is also gone.
Thank you. And if there's no electricity, nobody's taking credit cards or ATMs. So having single dollar bills,
Yeah.
People aren't going to be able to make change. So you're like, here's a 20. And they're like, yeah, it's $2 and you're not getting your change back.
So can you take me back though, just really quick? When did you become aware of the fires? Is it like you woke up in the morning and all of a sudden all this chaos was happening? Were you driving home and you heard about it on the radio? When did you first become aware of what was going on?
Somebody had sent a text saying, hey, do you see smoke from the fires? And I was like working, I was at the airport. I'm like, no. And then one of my coworkers said, oh my gosh, and there was a feed on one of the news stations. And then that's when it was like, oh my gosh. And then how the fires were popping up everywhere. And the evacuations that were happening. And then the scramble is, who do I know? Are any of my volunteers in those areas? And I actually did have several volunteers that had to evacuate. And, you just sit there and just pray, my God, I hope their home is going to be okay. And, just watching the devastation, you feel helpless, right? You just feel
That's
like,
right.
what? Completely helpless. And then the other thing is, what do you say? Like our one friend said, there's nothing you can say. I know you're sorry.
Right.
Nobody can understand because you're not sitting in my shoes with
That's
so
right.
many things in life. So it's like, we're here for you, dude. Whatever you need, just let us know. You think of something,
Right.
you need it, let us know.
I would imagine at some point it just starts to feel so overwhelming. And that even if it's not in your particular area, it's affecting a lot of areas that you might go to. Like you say, we have friends of our podcast that we interviewed in season 1 that were around some of these areas.
And so one of my friends, they have their podcast that I was on and her house burnt down. It's devastating. And, I have said, this is going to go on for a long time. There is no quick resolve for this. These people are going to be suffering and trying to figure out where they're going to land, how they're going to recoup, how they're going to get money.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still have a job? I mean,
Right.
all of these things. And, I say to my volunteers, we are needed now, but we're also going to be needed 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now, and 2 years from now.
The way society is, the next big story comes up and we start to, you start to change your focus, or they begin to change the focus for us through the media. I guess in our next segment, we can start to talk about the emotional and mental health needs that will arise from this particular crisis, and that ongoing support that is always going to be necessary.
I have an idea. Maybe my friend who did lose her home, and she has an animal rescue. They rescue animals. So it's not only is she suffering, now the animals that they're trying to help, she's not going to be able to do that. She has a child. She has her own animals. So that would be somebody who is actually affected.
Yes.
To hear from them.
100%. Yes.
Okay.
I think that's brilliant. If she's willing to do it, if she's able to do it, in a mindset to be able to do it, but let her know at any time she's welcome. But I would love to definitely have her on.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I'll reach out to her.
Excellent. Excellent. So folks, we'll be right back with more of the Heidi and Tim chat that's kicking off our season 2 of the I Love Wine and Dogs podcast. We're going to talk a little bit more about the fires in Los Angeles, and we're going to move forward and chat about some really exciting things to come. We'll be right back.
Watch season 1 of I Love Wine and Dogs on Spotify.
Wherever you live, go to your local shelter or work with your local rescue group to bring in your new forever loving baby if you're ready. Remember, you got to make sure you're ready for this commitment, but you can foster, you can volunteer. There are so many other ways that you can give back and help your fellow community in the pet world.
Like, share, and subscribe on Facebook and Instagram at I Love Wine and Dogs.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's Heidi Huebner and Timothy Stone Dancer Coleman. We're having our chat. This is our first episode for the season 2 of the I Love Wine and Dogs podcast. Heidi, can you talk to us a little bit about what's your normal day actually look like?
I can. So I created my dream job. I love what I do. I created a therapy dog program for LAX called the PUP program, Pets Unstressing Passengers. And the volunteers and their teams of dogs are up to 90 right now.
Wow.
Came up with this concept and launched it in 2013. Came up with it in 2012 and launched in 2013. And so I'm so proud of my volunteers. You know, we're at the airport, just bringing the love to anybody that needs it. And we do a lot of partnerships with different airlines for events that they do and in the community. And then with the fires, we were called upon to assist in with the firefighters at one of their base camps, which was something to behold. Man, they are so organized. I mean, it was an eye-opener of how incredibly brave and intelligent and compassionate these people are. And just bringing the dogs there for them to love on, it really was a big deal for them and just made us feel so proud. And, you know, again, just something so simple that they needed. And for them saying, we had no idea, and thank you for being here, and this means so much to us. And so there have been, you know, we've been deployed to other areas and centers. And it's really great because there are so many different therapy dog groups everywhere, all across the United States and internationally that just do, not that just do, but who do therapy dog work at hospitals and schools and different places, who also came out in full force and were at different sites bringing the love. So it was a huge joint effort. And it was really great meeting different groups, you know, that I didn't know. And of course I have recruited many to join us at the airport, which is exciting. And we're going to be doing this for a long time. I've had different members in the community reach out, and I said, listen, we're here. We're here. Yeah. Just let me know. They're volunteers. If they're available to go, they will be there. Man, I got to say that my volunteers are amazing. They always show up. You know,
so let's pause
the dog,
there.
it's the person too. The dog.
That's exactly it.
But sometimes it's that person giving them that hug, crying with them, understanding, or saying nothing and just let that person sit in silence.
Yes. Now, for those that don't know, because I have had this question myself as well. How do you go about organizing volunteers and their pups to, even when it's not a time of crisis, even at the airport, you know, like, how do you go about organizing that? Where do you find the people?
It's interesting. Most of it is word of mouth. But what happens is they are all badged just like every employee at the airport. So they have to go through the badging process. They do a meet and greet and a walkthrough with me because I have to make sure it's a good fit. You know, maybe they've done pet therapy at a reading room and the dog is great at that, but you take them to the airport and it just could be way too much commotion or activity or excitement. So I always have to do a meet and greet first, just to make sure it's a good fit for both and both human and dog like it. The group we partner with is Alliance of Therapy Dogs. And that's a nationwide organization that certifies and registers therapy dogs. There are other organizations like that, but that's the one that we've chosen to work with. And, you know, I have to say it's pretty cool, Tim. I've helped about 91 airports nationally, internationally, to start therapy dog programs. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Holy moly, that sounds like a lot of work.
Well, it's so there's a me at every airport. I could not, all I do is if they're interested, I'll give them the materials, I'll explain how it works and what I do, and then they can take it and tweak it and do what they want. But as far as the scheduling, my volunteers, they have their day and time that they come to the airport to work. And then whenever we have events, I just put a mass email out and with all the logistics and whoever can make it, then I'll continue to coordinate with that group who's going to participate with the local community member. So it's really organized. And, again, they're volunteers. So I always say, if we can be there, we will. I can't make a promise, yes. But yes. I have to say, they always show up. I'm so blessed.
And I've seen some of your social posts and the joy. Okay, when you say that the dogs are an extension of the human, right, in terms of energy that they're bringing, and I get, that it might be overstimulating to be in the airport, and everybody, it's such hustle and bustle, and the dogs are like, okay, wait a minute, you just brought me out of my comfy little home into this madness. What is it like on the animals as they've gone about in response to this specific crisis in LA? How have they been handling it?
Yeah. So you can't train or teach a dog to be a therapy dog. That's just in them. So the dog has to love people and, not discriminate. And by that, I mean, if somebody has a hat on, if somebody has curly hair, they're just like, hey, I love everybody.
Right.
And they have to want to do it. They have to love the attention. They have to love the busyness. They have to get along with other dogs. They can't have any aggression. They have to have basic. So that is the personality of the dog. Now, then they have to know basic obedience. They have to know come, sit, stay, walk nicely on a leash. And that's what Alliance of Therapy Dogs, that test is to make sure they have all of those. They're checking all the boxes. And the volunteer eye is always on the dog. The dog comes first. So some days, just like us, the dogs could get a little tired sooner, or it's been so much activity, they'll start, looking to their owner or becoming uninterested. When you see those signs, it's time to go. So I say the shift is a 2-hour shift. It does not mean that that is, you have to stay 2 hours. And so when I do the meet and greet to see, is the dog loving and into this and going up to people and, enjoying themselves, is the owner also paying attention?
Right.
Because I will start to see the sign and I'm like, I really hope they see the dog is like, I'm done. And if they don't, that's okay. I will say, hey, right now your dog is saying they're done, which means it's time to leave. That's something, I need to make sure that So when they do the test, I don't want to set anybody up for failure, which is why I meet them first. If it's not going to be the right fit, I'm going to know right away. It doesn't mean their dog can't do pet therapy. There might be a better, like I said, a reading room, going to a nursing home.
The environment.
But I'm specifically, the dogs I'm looking for have to be able to work at LAX.
Got it. Now, how, so the volunteers, okay, so it's a 2-hour shift. You don't have to stay the whole 2 hours, and you got to, pay attention to your pup and see, where they are at any given moment, right? But how often are your volunteers coming back, and how long do they stay? Do you have volunteers that have been around 6 months, a year? What does that look like?
So my volunteers they're all here. During COVID, a lot moved out of state to be closer to family. And a lot of dogs aged out and unfortunately passed away. I lost mine too. We had talked about that, Chance and Chubbs last year. I have to say, many of my volunteers who have a dog that has aged out or lost a dog have gotten another dog. So they're on a third dog, a second dog, a fourth dog, because they enjoy it so much. It's so cool to be hanging out with your dog and watching your dog just bring so much joy to people. It's like,
Yes.
Come on, what's better than that?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And so, I have some, we call them the ODs, the original dogs. My two-legged, maybe I should call them the OPs, the original people.
Yes,
Who are still, like I said, on different generations of dogs.
There are so many people who come up with like, okay, well, now I'm going to have a podcast, or now I'm going to be a singer, or now I'm going to do XYZ. And it's not necessarily something that is happening in the other part of their life. What I love is that you have created a space for us to have these conversations, and to bring this positivity to the community based on things that we actually love in our lives. And this is something that you're doing on a daily basis, all day, every day. And yes, the podcast is your own and separate from your day job and that work, but it's all Heidi. And so thank you for the work that you're doing.
Oh, Tim, I love you and thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, Timothy over here, he is we're yin and yang. He's my East Coast, West Coast. Like, he is me over there doing so many similar things, not with therapy dogs, but with kids in the community and people. So, this is why we're together doing this show, and this is why we love it.
It's 100% true. All right, folks, thanks so much for staying with us. We'll be back with another segment with Heidi and Tim's kickoff to 2025 and season 2 of the I Love Wine and Dogs podcast right after this.
There are only a select few relationships that can ever come close to that of grandmother and her grandchildren. Such is the case with Journey and her grandmother. Journey and her granny love each other dearly. Journey looks up to her grandmother in every aspect of her life, a love reciprocated with her grandmother's every action. If it is something as little as a new crayon box, Granny always is excited for her little Journey, as she means the world to her. This book is about such relationships, pure and delicate as one that's with Journey. Grab your copies today to find out about the sweet and genuine love between a granddaughter and her grandmother in Gillian Bell's new book, Are You Aware?
Welcome back, everybody. It's Heidi and Tim with the I Love Wine and Dogs podcast.
You can reach out to us on our Instagram, I Love Wine and Dogs, or our Facebook page. Always, we love to hear from you. Remember, post pictures of wine, also of your dogs. Remember,
That's
adopt, don't shop. Gosh, the shelters here, I have to say, not to go back to the fires, but a lot of people have displaced animals, and we've been putting the word out for people to foster. I think we're going to be fostering somebody. And, sometimes the people are not able to take their animals back, and we hope that they are, but the shelters everywhere are overflowing. So please go to your local rescue group or shelter to find your new forever loving baby.
I love it. I totally love it. And so Heidi, let's talk about what's to come, right? I want people to get just a little bit of a taste of like how excited you and I are for what's happening in season 2.
I just love what we're doing so much. And the thing that's fun about this for Tim and I, since it's our show, and we can tweak and change and do what we want, learning from what we've done this past year and just continuing to grow. But also, we need your help with that. So if you're liking this, if you've liked an episode, please also share that on your social media. And we have a really amazing guest coming up. Can we talk about her right now?
Yeah. So I'm really excited. This is going to be oh my God, it's going to be so amazing. So you know how you have those special people in your life, and they are also, it's kind of like us, right? Like this person that's coming, her name is Gillian Bell. She's the CEO and founder of Urban Yoga Foundation. What I have learned is to just take a deep breath. You do what you can. You are not here to solve the entire planet's problems, but you are here to offer your joy and your light and your support and bring all of that to fruition as best you can for other people. So she's going to be with us in episode 2, and I can't wait for the folks to meet her.
Man, I can't wait for her. I just can't wait to like talk to her in person. I scoured the website and I'm like, oh my God, I love everything. It's a movement.
She's got this curriculum called the Tree of Life. And I'll make sure that she breaks it down for us. I just want to give as many cliffhangers to our folks as possible to get them to tune in. So, we do need to at all times be conscious of the pulse of what's happening for us emotionally, psychologically, physically. And every day is a good day to start taking that deep breath and reassessing what's important to us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim. That's so important. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's our show for today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And just love yourself, take care of yourself, and make it a great day. Until next time.
Like, share, and subscribe on Facebook and Instagram at I Love Wine and Dogs.